Hi, this is a very brief shelfie of one of the smaller shelves in my house, and it's just designed to give you an idea of one of my other interests, which is travel writing related to literature. And I picked these books really because I couldn't find anywhere else to put them in the house, and I felt this would be the most beautiful place for them. Mostly in my house, books are wherever I can actually fit them in. And this little alcove here, ironically, was originally, when the house is owned by somebody else, one of those trendy 60s and 70s serving hatches. It's really small, but it makes for an ideal little bookshelf. So just to show you what's here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit there. Right at the top, there's some nice little mini art books from Aberville Press, which is part of Abrams, great American art publisher. Their books are always so beautiful. You know, Abrams and Aberville, one of those publishers whom, if I could have everything in their catalogue just because the books are so beautiful, I would. So there's a little bit of art there, and there's a book called A Pocket Full of Luxury Italian Hotels. And of course, those are the sort of hotels that I stay in all the time, or at least hope to, because I do love Italy. And you'll find that on this channel I'll do quite a lot about Italian books, particularly about Capri and the Amalfi Coast, because I'm obsessed with that. Moving down, I did put up a little bit of fiction here, and you can see there's a couple of penguins there. I'll just point them out. There's one there, from their Drop Cap series, which is an American series. A lot of these are not available in the UK, and here we have Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and John Steinbeck's Cannery Row, which I haven't read yet actually. I've not read much Steinbeck, but it's a really beautiful book. And the whole idea of drop caps is there's one for each letter of the alphabet. So the Melville one is M, the Steinbeck one is S. Surprise, surprise. See if I can just get one out and show it to you. There we go, lovely. It's got an M on it, and it's got a coloured text block, or sprayed edge as the amateurs call it. There we go. Melville, one of my favourite writers. And a quick aside there, the first thing to do, if you're going to read Melville, don't read Moby Dick first, because it's a big book, it's a tough book. Read one of the shorter early ones. Ideally, Typee, his first book, which is fantastic and short, great book about him going off to sea, Polynesian islands, that sort of stuff. Really great book. Tim Parks' Literary Tour of Italy. Tim Parks written lots about Italy. That's a great book for learning about writers around Italy. Then we have a book from Tauris Park. I'm just going to zoom in again there. There's the Tauris Park sigil there at the base of the spine, which looks like a ibis to me. It's not a flamingo. It's got his beak is too curvy, and curvy in a different way. So that's a book about the French Riviera, and that's the literary aspects of the French Riviera. And next to that, the more Tauris Park books. They do this lovely little series, which I think are absolutely gorgeous. Let me just pull this Tangier one out. The Literary Guide for Travellers. This is one about Tangier. Of course, Tangier, you immediately think of William S. Burroughs, Paul Bowles, Joe Orton, Isabel Eberhardt, all those sort of people. Marvellous stuff. And these are lovely books. And there's the Sicily one there. And I haven't been to Sicily. I really would like to go one day. I'm fascinated by Italy, as I say. And there's 20th Century Paris, which covers the literary culture of 20th century Paris from 1900 to 1950. And of course, you go to Paris, it's as literary as the day is long. So that's a great book as well. And then I'll just move back up to the top a little bit here. There's a marvellous book called The Warm South from Yale. Yale, another superb publisher. The production quality is always fantastic, and that's quarter bound in orange cloth there and has laminated boards. And that's a book about the Mediterranean and the English imagination, and it's really great. It starts with the burning of Byron's body on the beach in Greece, and Shelley being a bit upset. And there's a couple more books there from Aberville, The Art of Rock, which is fantastic, and British Art at the Tate Gallery. That's got a bit of spine fade. I've got two copies of that, a paperback, which my good lady has wrecked because she likes to bend the old spine. That's my own personal hardcover copy. Really great little art book, that. Moving back down, and this is a great American book from Farrar, Straus and Giroux. And Pagan Light, Dreams of Freedom and Beauty in Capri by Jamie James. Came out a couple of years ago. I collect books about Capri. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I'm fascinated by its literary culture particularly, and that's a really great book. One of the best Capri books out there. One of the few you can actually get at the moment, so I really recommend that. And Farrar Straus, of course, great American literary publisher. Produced some fantastic stuff over the years. And also next to that, another Tauris Park book. Riviera Dreaming, Love and War on the Côte d'Azur. And this is a great book by somebody called Maureen Emerson. And what it does, it looks at some of the great houses built on the French Riviera and the people who lived in them. So there's famous people like W. Somerset Maugham, there's less famous people, and it's all about the houses, the architects, and it's really, really great read. And if you're interested in modern architecture, as I am, literary history and culture, and the south of France, you really can't go wrong. Next to that is a kind of nostalgic buy. This is a reissue of Patrick Leigh Fermore's bestseller Between the Woods and the Water, published by John Murray. This was reissued as a bookshop exclusive a little while ago, a few years ago. And I've got it because I just love that jacket. It's absolutely beautiful, and this is a bestseller. Fermore's work did really, really well, obviously. He was a special agent during the war and a award-winning travel writer, and this reminds me of when I first moved to the city I move in now, and this was a bestseller, and I saw lots of it, and it brings back lots of happy memories of those days, so that's why I've got it there. Next to that is a book I haven't read yet. I am a sucker for books which are beautiful. I think all of us who are bibliophiles are. Let me just pull that for more out a moment, and I'll show you this one, which is, look at that fantastic jacket. They don't make them like that anymore, except they do. That's Christopher Hull, Our Man Down in Havana, which is the story behind Graham Greene's Cold War spy novel, Our Man in Havana. Now, if you don't know Our Man in Havana, it's a very funny book, really, really good. One of my favourite Graham Greenes, really recommend it. And of course, Graham Greene had a bit of a background in intelligence work. And as you see, it's got a lovely multicoloured jacket, really beautiful blue spine, and really nice book. This must be due out in paperback now. I've not actually got around to reading it yet. And I'll just flip it around a little bit. There we go. And look at that lovely yellow green end papers there. And quarter bound. Look at that. Nice red and yellow. Absolutely beautiful. That's how you make a book. And that was published by... Who was it published by? Very good question. I can't tell off the top of my head. Let's just have a quick little look at that. Doing this with one hand with a tiny Nikon camera that I would take stills with, by Pegasus Books of New York and London. You can tell the American books. American books generally are much more beautiful than British ones the last 2 years. So that's great. Something else I read a couple of years ago is, just get this sorted back out. I won't be able to pull this one out, I don't think. It's just there. Sean Levy, The Castle on Sunset. Love, Fame, Death and Scandal at Hollywood Chateau Marmont from Weidenfeld and Nicholson. And that's about the Chateau Marmont was a hotel and almost like a folly-like building, and lots of rock stars and film stars stay there and got up to all sorts of shenanigans. Great read. Sean Levy wrote a great book about the Dolce Vita period in Italy when Hollywood colonised Rome in the 50s, and all that fantastic stuff was being made with the great American film stars and Cinecittà, the great American studio. Then we have a couple more Tauris Park books. I'm going to zoom right the way back down again, show you that lovely sigil there at the base of the spine. And there's one on Sardinia and one on Tangier. And these are more general history books, but they're cultural histories and they're absolutely beautiful. And finally there, yet another Tauris Park book, Ghosts of the Belle Epoque, which is a book about a hotel in Sicily and the people who stayed there. And as you can see, I'm a bit obsessed with these sort of glamorous things, probably because my own life is so glamorous. And that's great as well, really good. So some of these I haven't read yet. Just at the end, I'm going to pull out this little book. This is an exhibition catalogue for the work of Clifford and Rosemary Ellis, who were illustrators associated with the West Country where I live. And this was an exhibition I went to of their work, and they did some great work. They did lots of covers for the books in the Collins New Naturalist Library, which are really collectible and really beautiful. They did lots of sort of posters and things. 1931 to 85. Really lovely little book. When you go to an exhibition and you see these things, you've got to pick them up because they're usually limited runs. And this is Victoria Art Gallery, Bath and North East Somerset, Council, £8. Really great stuff. So there's a little shelfie there showing you some of my sort of travel-y literary obsessions. Hope you enjoyed that. I wish all my shelves are this pretty. This is really, really nice. Got a lovely blue around there. And I'm just going to zoom up some postcards that my partner's put there, and of course there's the surface of the moon, as you would expect. Strange but true.